Hey, we're back again. The second episode of 2024, Joe. How do you feel?
I feel great. Honestly, Jeff, I got to give it to you. You came up with some great theme music. You know, the funky beats we had, they were great. They were great. But
What?
they were they were generic. They didn't really feel like us. Now we have this whole intro. We got our heads
Personality.
floating around. We've got Chet in the mix. We've got comic book canon themed music. We got a big explosion at the end, Michael Bay style.
Yep.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. No, we absolutely. We had Michael Bay as a consultant. It was only 3.5 million, and I know you oversee the budget and all of that, but you put that small little pot. It said question mark. It was about $5 million. So I left 1.5 million in that pot and put 3.5 towards Michael Bay. I hope you're okay with that.
Yeah, I didn't tell you this, but I actually bought us $1.5 million worth of those Nature Valley granola bars.
Oh, craft service!
We can eat them as a snack. So it's important. It's very important to have snacks.
We have to nourish ourselves because we can't bring this energy without any nourishment.
Woo!
You know what else brings me energy?
Hot dogs.
Yeah, that too. But I hope Nukes is here because how about them Cowboys?
Oh, yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
I saw someone say that was the best Eagles game of the season.
Oh, it really, honestly, that I get so much joy. So much joy. Whatever happens tomorrow with Eagles Bucks, so much joy today. Not heard a peep from my buddy who was talking all this smack this season on the Eagles. My Cowboys friend who's from Baltimore, by the way, of course. So anyways, we're getting off track here, Joe. We got a great comic book canon, second episode of the year. We got Fresh from the Comic Shop. We got Ask Joe. We got On the Hunt. We got Chet, who really needs to say hello. And Joe, I haven't told you this, but he's gone through a little bit of a transformation again.
Oh, did he get buff again?
You decide. Chet, we talked before the show. FaceTimed, actually. Chet, how you doing?
Cavemen, assemble. Chet reporting live with my beach bod glistening, brain sizzling with Drbiat rape soda intel. Yes, I shed pounds faster than Batman at a bake sale. My secret, diet grape soda and 87 miles of daily sprinting. Now I'm a comic book analysis cheetah, devouring plot twists and roasting characters like beach marshmallows. Buckle up for a nerdgasm marathon, deeper dives than Atlantis, roasts hotter than habaneros, and spoilers juicier than mermaid tears. Hold on to your popcorn, your dignity, and maybe a life jacket if Jeff's steering. This year, the canon's taking the geek world by storm, one purple sprint at a time. Get ready? Caveman, Chet's unleashed.
Yeah, I like the chutzpah right there. I like that. 87 miles of sprinting a day and just drinking grape soda will get you a body like that, Joe.
That's pretty impressive. Honestly, Chet, looking good.
Looking really good, actually. Looking really good. There's a lot of questions in the chat that we may get to a little bit about, Chet. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Because we have some news to get into. And we got some nice, tasty news. We also have a review we're going to be doing. On a certain show that came out this week.
A spoiler-free review, as always. No spoilers.
We never spoil that. We never spoil that. But Joseph, let's just get into the news. Kick us off, shall you? Shall you?
Oh yeah, we got some news this week. First, I think this is honestly the best news that we've gotten. There is going to be a movie, a Star Wars movie, entitled Mandalorian and Grogu. They are taking these two recent fan favorite characters, certainly the most fan favorite characters in the last 20 years, to the big screen. They're leaping out from the Disney Plus television series, and they're getting their own film. And the best news is that it's being heralded by Jon Favreau.
We're in good hands. Like, shall we say that? We are in very good hands with that. So I have all the faith in the world.
Yeah, I think we know in Favreau we can trust, in Filoni we can trust, and I believe Filoni is also working on it as a producer. So
yeah,
between the two of them, I have high hopes for this. In the recent block of Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars movies, I like Solo. and I love,
Yeah.
absolutely love Rogue One.
One.
Easily a top 2 Star Wars movie ever.
Excellent. Outstanding. And something that was completely out of the blue too. You know what I mean?
Right. No one expected that.
No.
So that being said, I think this could usher in. I think they found their groove. They found what people like. They found this something away from the Skywalkers, which is nice. It's not reliant. Sure, Luke showed up in the Mandalorian and stuff like that, but he was a cameo appearance.
Yeah,
it wasn't something that was like
it was a Hulk 180, basically, is what you're saying.
It was a Hulk 180. Oh, we don't want to get into that right now. Anyway, there's kind of a part 2 to this news, and that's that. Don't worry if you're loving the show. Season 4 is still scheduled. It's going to be 6 episodes. And I believe it's coming out this year, so that's going to predate the film. And the film is kind of going to act as the series finale. So this is going to be the final season, at least from what the rumors are telling us. And the film is going to be the kind of cap off to everything. It's kind of going to culminate this whole Mandalorian Grogu saga that we've gotten over the past couple years,
and that we've loved. I don't believe that the next season will be coming out this year.
I apologize.
I think you meant to say they're starting production this year.
That may be true.
I don't think they're going to be able to turn. I don't think they're going to be able to turn around those episodes quick enough for the end of this year. But it's exciting news too. And there's one other little nugget that was in the press release, because this is official Star Wars announcing this stuff, by the way. Ahsoka season 2 is happening as well. Filoni is going to executive produce all of this stuff, along with Jon Favreau, as well as taking on another season of Ahsoka. So that is just awesome news. I'm super excited. I know you are, Joe. Apologies to the audience here, because I think we've kind of gotten away from the Star Wars coverage. And that's just shameful.
Much about it.
Yeah, that's just shameful, because there's so much to talk about. So please know that we will be covering that stuff. I mean, and as you know, in these news slates right here, we do have issues that relate to this. I believe this is Darth Vader number 20. This is the first cover appearance of Grogu and the Mandalorian before they even made their first appearances in Mandalorian. I think Grogu was Mandalorian issue 2. I'm not sure. Somebody correct me in the chat, please. But yeah, anyways, moving on to some more stellar news, Joe. And by stellar, that's just sarcasm. I'm dripping in sarcasm right now. Go for it. Take it away.
Yeah, so we're going to move away from Star Wars over to Marvel. And we got some Madam Web stuff this week. And like we always say on the show, we want these movies to do good. We want them to do well, I should say. We don't have high hopes for Madam Web. It is a Sony movie. Sony has released far less than stellar projects in the last number of years. Really, the only thing that I enjoyed, I would say, is like a really enjoyable movie that Sony has put out by itself is Venom 1. And even that was not like a phenomenal movie by any means. So we got Madam Web coming out actually next month, I believe, right? February?
Yeah.
And we got a couple things released this week. A press photo that showed the supporting Spider Women in full costume. And I'll say this. Julia Carpenter looks amazing. That suit looks awesome. Very comic book accurate. I'm not sure I'm feeling the other two.
No, I'm not feeling any of them.
Really? I like Julia Carpenter's. Maddie Franklin's is like meh. And I don't like Aranya's at all. She doesn't look at all like the comic. No. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But Julia Carpenter's very comic book accurate, at least.
It's close. She doesn't. I mean, the white eyes would be pretty amazing. You know what I mean? But she does have the open face mask thing. Anyways, whatever. But we do have another reveal, another amazing reveal, don't we?
Yeah, actually revealed from a cranberry bottle that is promoting this movie, Ocean Spray. There we go. We have Dakota Johnson's costume as the title character, Madam Web. This one, obviously, you can't really see the whole costume, but it's pretty lackluster. I think it's funny that they chose this. Like, the same color, as the cranberry juice, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're using cranberry colored costume. Let's put this on some cranberry juice."
Perfect mix. Yeah.
Now, listen, I'm a big fan of cranberry juice. I had some last night at the bar. I went out with some high school friends who I haven't
Good
seen
for the
in
kidneys.
years.
Good for the kidneys.
Yeah, I love cranberry. I had a cranberry ginger ale. But that being said, I don't know if that was like the best promotional thing that Sony could have done. But hey, listen, I'm not in the world of marketing. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, I just feel like we want these movies to succeed, right? We don't like getting down on these movies, but just like the DCEU, right? Sony has a record of disappointing us when it comes to these films. Big time. Raimi, the first two Raimi films, excellent. Third, garbage. Amazing Spider-Man and the sequel, garbage. The only thing that they've done right is collaborate with Marvel to produce Spider-Man in the MCU proper, right? That's the only thing they've done. I have very low expectations for Madam Web when it comes out. I to the point I don't even want to. I probably won't even see it in the theater, and that's shameful for me to say because I see most comic book movies in the theater. So that's my little rant on that. I don't want to take too much time. Please.
Yeah, listen,
wrap this story up.
I'm going to go see the movie the first chance possible. Just that's something I do. With pretty much all superhero movies, although I still have not seen Aquaman. But that's a different story. That being said, I don't have high hopes. A couple people in the chat have, said some things. We're talking about the costumes. The costumes aren't overly sexual, which is great. A lot of those characters did first premiere as teenage girls, so that's probably good that they aren't overly sexual, let's see. Josh said, was talking about Madam Web being in a wheelchair. Yeah. So this is like in the past. This is supposed to kind of have taken place. The rumor is that, what's his name? Adam Scott and Emma Roberts, who are going to be in the movie, are playing some of Peter Parker's relatives. There's been talk of it being Aunt May and Uncle Ben. There's talk of it being Mary and Richard, or some combination of those four characters, Peter Parker's parents or Peter Parker's aunt and uncle. So this clearly takes place probably prior to Peter even being born.
Interesting.
Maybe he's a baby at the time. So this is an older storyline. And there are certainly Madam Web flashback stories in the comics where she's not confined to a seat.
Either way, okay. I feel like, again, I don't want to get too negative on this. I like what Josh said. Let's talk about positive things. We shouldn't talk negatively about it, to be honest. I'm calling myself out because it could be good. It could be surprising. Trailer was underwhelming. The poster was underwhelming. These costumes to me are underwhelming. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I just, for my mental health, can we move on to the next story, please?
Absolutely. So the next story, this is a pretty interesting one. A lot of times these movies that have come out, they've tried to pull a lesser known actor, not someone out of complete obscurity very often, but someone lesser known and put them into, a major role. And that seems to be the case here with the Supergirl casting. There are 3 names being thrown around of actors that are going to be doing test screenings. So they weren't like offered the role. Those big name actors, they're often just offered the role. But we got some test screenings going on. They are Millie Alcock, Amelia Jones, and Meg Donnelly. If you don't know who they are, Millie Alcock is famous for being part of the Game of Thrones spinoff, House of the Dragon. Jones was part of Lock and Key, if you saw. So she has been in comic book content series before. And Donnelly actually has voiced Supergirl in a couple different animated DC projects. So, we've got some people with some reps under their belt. These aren't obscure, unknown actors, but they're also not, they're not the top tier, super recognizable ones. I know very little about any of them, so I really can't weigh in on this, but we've said it a bunch. In James Gunn, we trust. I think he's going to do a good job.
I agree. I don't think James Gunn, in terms of like, I mean, Scooby Doo, I wasn't too big of a fan of, but
what?
Sorry, sorry, call me out. Whatever you need. But I think I trust what James Gunn does as well. Granted, Marvel is really good at casting, really good. So he leaned on the casting department a lot with Marvel. Let's see what happens here in DC. I mean, maybe he'll bring some of those casting people over as well. I don't know if they work as salaried, positions with Marvel or Disney, or if they're freelancers like a lot of these like directors and actors are as well. So
I know the main, I forget her name.
Yes.
The main woman in charge of the MCU. She is the Marvel Studios person.
Okay, so she's exclusive with them.
Yeah, there's no way she's going to be able to be retained by
Gunn. Yeah, but either way, Gunn has built up enough like capital in terms of his reputation and how great he is to work with. There are actors that are going to want to go back and work with him again. Chris Pratt is on the record saying that. Batista's on the record saying that. So
yeah,
I think we're going to get.
Chris Pratt. I don't need that.
Well, I'm just saying that they had amazing experiences with him. So I think they're going to be on point with these castings. I'm excited to see things moving forward. Aren't we getting Creature Commandos this year?
Yeah, this year I believe Waller, Creature Commandos are kind of the only two things.
Like Peacemaker was amazing, right? And I expected to get even better than that. So I'm very excited to see things move along with the DCU now, and see where it lands, because Gunn has a great opportunity here to right the ship and get us excited about these characters again, because we love these characters as well. It's just no track record. The track record is inconsistent at best. There's been a few hits and more misses.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason that DC doesn't have the potential to put out, multiple and even back-to-back $1 million movies. I know the Joker hit $1 million. In fact, was the first ever movie to rated R movie to hit $1 million. Sorry, a billion.
I was going to call you out on that, but I'd rather have you do that.
$1 million. No, $1 billion box office movie. Joker was the first ever rated R movie to hit that number. And that wasn't part of the DC universe, which is kind of the downfall of that. They were scattered for a long time. They're still going to be a little scattered because it seems like the Reeves universe is going to be separate, as well as the Joker universe. But at the same time, what?
I think they're going to be under the banner of Elseworlds, because you have the Penguin show on Max as well.
Yeah. There's certainly going to be something different. Right. And what I hope they do, because the Reeves universe and the Joker universe are very realistic. There's not a supernatural that we've seen in those two movies. So if they keep one, more realistic, maybe more earthbound, street level kind of stuff, and make the DCEU more like the more cosmic, otherworldly, all that stuff, more magic and superpowers, actual superpowers rather than street level stuff. I think that would be a really cool way to do it.
I don't know, man. I just don't want to confuse the, audiences and things like that. I just want momentum to build. I love this long history and legacy Marvel has, right? The MCU has. I want to, maybe I'm selfish, but I want to see the legacy and the history of the comic books just as great in the movies. Does that make sense? Like, I want that world building. And again, yes, it's what Marvel did in 2008 was unprecedented, and they had huge success. People feel like they've tailed off. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it, but again, they're going to continue on, and I'm very excited about that. So I just don't want it to get too confusing for the mainstream audience. So that's all I have to say about that. I'm very excited about James Gunn and the DCU, what we have coming up for us as comic book fans.
Absolutely. And speaking about something that we got this week, little treat as comic book fans, little 5-episode treat. We got to talk about Echo.
We gotta talk about Echo. Spoiler review of Echo.
Spoiler-free review.
Right, that's what I meant.
You said spoiler review. No spoilers here.
20 million go down to like, no, you know what I mean. Anyways, let's do it.
Oh, let's talk about it. Okay, so I enjoyed it. I think it was good, not great. I think it was exciting. I thought that the acting was top notch.
Yep.
I thought that the writing was pretty good. The storyline, it moved along at a nice pace. The first episode was a little jumbly. They did a lot of flashbacks, and a lot of those flashbacks were things we already saw. So I think it was good and bad that they did that. Good in a way that maybe if you didn't watch Hawkeye or the Daredevil series, give you a little bit of introduction to these characters, give you a little bit of backstory as to what is going on right now. But at the same time, it felt a little redundant as someone who's watched all that stuff. And it kind of like just jumped all over the place. After the first episode, though, it was streamlined and smooth from there. Really, really liked it. Like I said, it's not something that I'm like ready to do a rewatch on it already, but it's definitely something that I enjoyed enough to be rewatching in the not so distant future.
Okay. We both had the same grade here, which is interesting, but I saw it as great. You saw it as good. I saw it as great. I was so fascinated in her backstory, her character, her family, everything that resulted in who she became. And I thought they did a really good job with that. I was happy that they did all of that, all of the retread for context. Because if I watch this with my girlfriend, she's not seen any of this stuff, but she can watch this as a standalone, and that's what this Marvel Spotlight is all about. I thought the writing was great. I thought the cinematography was great. I thought the stunts and the fight scenes were outstanding. I just really, really enjoyed it. And I'm excited to see where these characters go, where they left off. No spoilers here, but I'm very excited to see what happens next with these characters.
And it did bring back something that we haven't seen since the Netflix saga, we'll call it.
Right.
And that was a lot more violence, a lot more like adult level violence and content
that you don't
like
see on
that.
Disney Plus.
Right. Normally. People getting shot and like really, really like seeing this stuff.
I mean, we saw that in the trailer. That set the tone. Yeah. Like they were basically saying, this is what it's going to be. And you're like, holy, wow. Of course, Josh has spoilers for us.
No spoilers. And I really like the culmination of the series. I think it tied things up really well, just because it was only 5 episodes, which at first I was like, oh man, are they only doing 5 episodes because they don't really believe in this?
Yeah,
but
I thought, yeah.
It did something really nicely. They didn't try to stretch it out. There's not a lot of filler. I would say there's no filler in these 5 episodes. I think it kind of
just moves,
runs through the story of what's happening and ties it up really nicely. And it's self-contained. And I will say one thing. And I said this to you on the phone earlier, Jeff. When I got done watching that, I was so stoked on it. Seeing Vincent D'Onofrio again, seeing a little bit of Charlie Cox in there, that I went back and restarted watching the Daredevil television series, the Netflix series, with season 1. And I think I'm on like the last episode of season 1 already. And I started it earlier this week. And I'm definitely going to be watching season 2 and 3 as well, because I really enjoy all 3 seasons of the show.
They were great. All 3 seasons were great. It was such a disappointment when they made that announcement. It was such an amazing kind of like, yay, MCU, you're our hero, bringing it back. I again really love what they're doing. Really love that they're expanding into different mature themes and things like that. Really enjoyed the deep history of the Native Americans, and specifically her, where she came from. It was outstanding. So that
was cool. I love how they really dove into a lot of aspects of the culture, and they also, all that stuff is real Choctaw Nation, awesome. History and lore and stuff like that. I even like that I think it was the season 2. If you're a sports fan, or sorry, not season 2, episode 2, it starts off with a lacrosse game, which is
lacrosse.
Right, yeah. Which is a game that's not. I shouldn't have said that, but it's not really a spoiler. Their lacrosse is a game that came from indigenous culture, and I love that they added that in there.
Like, really cool to see that.
Very cool.
Especially, and I'm sure I mean, I don't know how it was played back then, but it's a lot different than what it is now, obviously, but it looked really, really cool. With that said, Joe, we are going to reveal when we do these reviews, everybody, just to let you know, we are taking out of 10, we're taking a scale out of 10. Joe and I are going to combine our reviews, our numbers, and we are going to divide by 2 because we are 2 amazing humans. And this is the number we came for with Echo. We'd love to hear your numbers. Please leave it in the comments or in the chat. Here we go. 8 out of 10. Joe, this is a good to you. This is a great to me. It is so rare I give something a 9 and even a 10. So I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this series. I didn't know what to expect from it, to be honest. As you said, with the 5 episodes that they were giving us, I thought it was more of like, we don't believe in this. Let's just get it out all in one dump. People can binge it. So I really enjoyed it. 8 out of 10 is what we give it.
Yeah. And you know, like I kind of think of this kind of has CGC grades where like once you start getting in the high numbers, like above a 9, like, you know, I'll do 0.5s and stuff, you know, 7.5, 8.5. But once you get in the 9s, you can go up incrementally, like 9.2, 9.4, 9.6. So it leaves a lot more room there. And since we're a comic book channel, I use the CGC grading method here.
Interesting. Okay, maybe I guess we could do that.
Listen,
so Eggplant
I'm going to do it whether you like it or not. So
fine, we'll have to figure out the math then. Eggplant gives a 5 out of 10. Immortal Scruffy 7 out of 10. Josh is 7 out of 10 as well. 5 out of 10 is not too enjoyable, but 7 out of 10, I would think that, like, yeah, I liked it.
5 out of 10 for me, and this is for me. 5 out of 10 is like, okay, that was okay. It was 5 out of 10 is it was worth my time, but I'm not stoked. I'm not recommending it to people.
You go below that, it's not good.
Right. Well, once you go below that, I think so. We're all, you know, above, you know, at least 50%.
Yeah.
So that's
it's solid. Fine. Yeah, it's entertaining. Let's put it that way. At the very least, for everybody that's left a number here. Okay. One more piece of news here. One more piece, because we revealed something this week, everybody. But let's talk about it. That is the Fresh from the Comic Shop tournament. FFTCS, y'all. We just released the brackets. We released the first round. So much fun, so exciting. The only thing we don't know yet is when we're going to start this thing, but we're going to figure it out. Joe and I are going to talk offline. That's corporate talk. We are a corporation. We are Comic Book Canon LLC, one of the biggest. We are the biggest YouTube show on the planet. 22 million people currently watching us live. Let's get into it. As you know, we have a bracket A and we have a bracket B, right? And we're going to get into what that means here, because bracket A and B, right? You had 2 buys in each bracket. They are waiting for the winners of another bracket. And this is what it's going to break down to. You got bracket A with the top score right here. Let's take down this Echo review, shall we, Joe? That's really distracting. We got Nukes Comics there with the first round buy in bracket A. Please leave questions in the comments or the chat if this is not making any sense. But Joe, I think it makes a lot of sense because we came up with it.
You came up with, I'm going to give you the props for putting this together.
Joe,
as far as who was seated, how, and all that stuff.
We're a team, buddy. We're a team. Also in bracket A with a first round bye is Dr. Plagueis. There you go. Oh, Nukes is in the chat, by the way. So you're just sitting pretty right now, Nukes. The Dallas Cowboys getting crushed by the youngest team in the NFL. The youngest team, I think, to ever make the playoffs since 1971. Anyways, moving on. But here we go. The first head-to-heads right here in bracket A. We have, who do we have? C to the G versus Josh's Comics. Right there, that's a battle. Right there, that is a battle. Super exciting right there. Josh and C to the G are both in the chat here. Would like to know your thoughts on going head-to-head.
That's gonna be a tough one. Those shoes versus really Josh's like self-homage. That's going to be really tough.
Yeah, Josh did a great job. This is when Josh started coming out of his shell with his submissions, by the way. And he's just been doing a bang-up job lately. All right, we have Dan De La Torre, who likes to DM his Fresh from the Comic Shop. But we're not accepting it as a DM anymore because, look, I can't even put your name on there. Versus Nowhere Bound with that Fantastic Four. So you got Tales of Suspense versus Fantastic Four, Joe. 2 Silver Age going right up against each other. We're not talking about Nowhere Bound's hair. Did you get that? No, he
I don't
does look
get
good.
it.
He's Silver Age, I said, and we're not talking about Nowhere Bound.
Oh, listen, I
Hair.
don't even have hair.
Neither do I.
This is a
All right.
hairless show now. Yeah.
Moving on to bracket B with everybody, with the 2 first-round buys. We have Super Crispy.comics. Look at that, guys. Everybody, look at the depth of field right there. Look at the handcrafted Hulk stand. It's just wonderful right there. So that is a first-round buy in bracket B. We have our other first-round buy is Danny and Tessa with this Transformers #1. So those 2 are sitting pretty and waiting for these 2 to battle it out. Who is this? Oh, Nori Jordan versus Raising Elm. This is going to be an interesting one as well. And then in the other head-to-head right here, we have Union Josh versus Goonish Lurker. Another tough one, Joe. Like, they're all tough. It's going to be interesting to see how these shake out. So again, we are going to have the head-to-head battles. We got to figure out a schedule, Joe, that optimizes everything, because we always have Fresh from the Comic Shops on Wednesdays in terms of these semifinals and things like that. So, look at T-Shoe with the question. Okay, here we go. We'll tell you why it's the 2023 tournament, because these are 12 winners from 2023's Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Yeah.
And we need 12, so that's December. We find out who the winner is in December, and then we do it in 2024. Now, this is our first year doing this, so it's taking a little bit longer to get it off the ground, but the seedings are done. We're very happy about that, and I do want to just remind everybody that it's so important to get more votes, as many votes as you possibly can. That's the reason Nukes has the #1 overall seed. I'm sorry, the #1 overall seed is Nukes, because he came in with 44 votes, but he also had a higher percentage because Dr. Plagueis had 44 votes as well. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the percentage of how much you beat your opponent is factored in as well. We can do the math. We can actually, the math is already done. It's on the Instagram. So that is the reason why, T-Shoe. You've been on a ship drinking 11 days. No big deal, man. We congratulate that. And then one more reminder too, because this book is I don't have it, Joe. It's not in here. But
that's okay.
It's the 1 in 10 first appearance of the Hulk, courtesy of Spider Dude,
Red Hulk,
and the Red Hulk.
First appearance of the Hulk.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a variant of Hulk #1.
Boy.
No.
It's the first appearance of the Red Hulk, the 1 in 10 variant, the Daniel Acuna. Beautiful cover. And for some reason, I don't have that in here. We will have that image for you. Woo! Okay. With that said, we need to remind you of something right now. Because Joe, what's the next segment that we have? And we need something from the audience. So let's get it going. Joe, what is it?
Yeah. There's a segment where you, the audience, the viewers, the community, the Canon crew asks me, Joe, questions. It's actually called for some, and Jeff, for simplicity. It's just called Ask Joe. All you have to do is put a question in the chat. You can use the hashtag Ask Joe CBC, and Jeff will answer too if he feels like it.
And Jeff.
Roll the theme music. We got some new theme music for this, so me and Jeff don't have to strain our vocal cords every week.
But again, get these questions in right now. We're going to say hello to everybody first, but I do want to acknowledge something here, Joe, because I am still in the process of cleaning this area up, making it look all spiffy and nice. This TV is going to be branded with Comic Book Canon goodness right here. I did just post up, Joe, the first comic book. Can you guess what it is? You probably can't see it.
Is it your Stan Lee signature?
No.
Is it your daughter's comic?
No.
Is it Void Rivals #1?
It is Amazing Spider-Man #1, the Tribe Called Quest hip hop variant, merging two things that I love: Tribe Called Quest and Spider-Man. Who was given to me by who?
Me.
Boom! You're special. You are special. All right, let's do this. All right, moving on. We're going to say hello.
Wait, hold on a second. Josh just brought something up. We just finished the news, and we have not said hi to the people. This is the second week in a row. We almost forgot.
Going to do this. I said we're going to say hi. I literally just said that. We're going to say hi to the people right now.
Okay, my bad.
I was going to start with Josh because he has a question here. Josh's Comics in the house. So will all votes be up for or just a few each week? We're going to probably do A bracket battles 1 week, B bracket battles. Actually, we'll do 1A, 1B. The next week we'll do 1A, 1B. Then it gets re-bracketed in a way, and we'll announce all of that. And then we'll probably, I would think, Joe, I'm thinking Tuesday, Thursdays, we may do something like that. I don't know.
We'll talk about it. Might be good to do it Tuesday, Thursday. That way people can, have a day in between to vote for that week's winner.
Fresh from the semis. Anyway, so that's the answer. So hello, Josh. Nukes is in the house. T-Shoe was on a ship. What is happening? Goonish Lurker watching the Rams versus Lions. That should be an interesting game. Who else do we have? We got Eggplant Comics, who is huge. Mortal Scruffy, who thought Echo was a 7 out of 10. We got Frost Behemoth. I'm excited to get into it. Talking Echo. You will like it. I guarantee you will like it. And if you don't, you can come at me. We got C to the G in the house. Who else do we have? We got Raw Dog Comics. Who else? Dr. Frankenstein. Joe, give us a spin.
Spin on what? Spin in my chair? I can't. My legs will hit the table. Everything
we got to redo that studio. Everybody, if y'all want to vote for Joe to get a new studio, pay tens of thousands of dollars in the comic book, because he is our chief financial officer, CFO. Please hit 1 in the comments. If you think he shouldn't get a new studio, hit 2. We got, who else do we have? Oh, by the way, somebody did give you props in your Bill Cosby sweater right there. It's pretty awesome. D&T Comics and Collectibles. We got Dr. Plagueis. We got, who else do we have? We have a lot of people here. Dan De La Torre. It's a good crew. 24 million people watching us, Joseph. 24 million people. All right, before we get into Ask Joe, we got a little On the Hunt with Dr. Plagueis, who stopped in for a hot second, but had to go. He says he's going to catch on the rewind. So why don't we just check out this On the Hunt, shall we?
Run it.
This week in Antarctica, on the hunt, I head down to my LCS to hunt the dollar bins in hopes of filling in some of my power pack run. Let's start digging. Found some power pack. Let's see what I got. I ended up finding about 10 issues that I needed, and I got them all for $5. I also ended up finding one of the final 10 issues I need to complete my Uncanny X-Men Chris Claremont run. Thanks for watching.
Well done, Dr. Plagueis. I think
love it.
Yeah, he set the template. By the way, we got a few people here we haven't seen in a while. Como Comics. Got to get you back on the show. Got to get you back on the show. Who else? Super Crispy is here too. We're just talking about you being in the Fresh from the Comic Shop 2023 tournament. So hello. But right now, Joe, we're gonna get into it. And this this jam right here, right? Yeah, we used to bring in this segment right here, but guys, we had professionals come to us with this track right here. Here we go. We're gonna run a segment called what, Joe?
I believe it's called Ask Joe.
Ask Joe. And Jeff.
And Jeff, thank you. Appreciate that. That's me. All right, let's move into it. Guys, you still have time to get in your questions for Ask Joe, but we got some good questions right here. I'm going to start with Goonish. Am I allowed to plug something on the show? I'm not sure if you're talking about physically plugging
Oh,
something. I'm not
that
sure.
That wasn't during the Ask Joe segment. That was actually earlier, and I meant to address it. Gunish, you can always plug something. This is a community here. If you've got something going on, I know you do some cool stuff for the community. So whatever you got, let us know in the chat.
Yo, my girlfriend made it. Hello.
Woo!
Alicia in the house. I was just talking about you actually, saying that you could watch the show Echo on Disney Plus, and you would understand it because you haven't seen all of the MCU stuff. We'll talk about this later. Anyway, moving on. So Ask Joe. Here we go. Noobs Comics. Which deceased comic creator, artist, writer would you interview? What would you ask? It has to be deceased. I mean, easy.
This is a tough one because there are so many of the greats are gone at this point. You know, pretty much every golden age writer and artist. I can't think of a single, solidly golden age artist that's still around. I'm talking like 40s. There might be some like, people who were doing art in the early to mid 50s. And even a lot of the Silver Age greats aren't with us anymore. I think I would have to go with just one of the most prolific, and that would be Jack Kirby. Did I take yours, Jeff? We can have the same answer. That's okay. I would go with Jack Kirby. He worked for Marvel. He worked for DC. He very clearly, very obviously penned a lot of stuff as well. Was involved with the plotting. Maybe he wasn't the one writing in the final, dialogue, but he was plotting a lot of stuff from the instruction of Stan Lee during those early days of Marvel. He is quintessential in creating so many characters, doing so many famous covers, classic covers, from AF-15 all the way to, Fantastic Four, 48, 49, those incredible covers and incredible books that introduce new characters. There's not a lot of people that have done as much for comics as he has across decades, across two major publishers, as well as other work, stuff dating back to the Golden Age, for non-Marvel, non-DC. It's just Jack Kirby. He's the king. He's why he's one of the most legendary creators ever.
Jack the King Kirby is my answer as well. He's one who set the tone as to what comic books look like during his period. Does that make sense? Like, if you had to stereotype or generalize what a comic book was when he was producing comic books in terms of his artwork, he spat out so many different pieces of work. I mean, and his work was brilliant. On top of doing also designs outside of the comic book industry. That would be the person I want to meet. Now, if I never met Stan Lee would be number one. However,
here's the thing about Stan Lee. I mean, great bringing this up because Stan Lee certainly is very quintessential. I think no one's going to deny that. There are a bazillion Stan Lee interviews.
Yes, you're right. You're
way more than anyone else. Like you could take probably every comic book creator interview that's widely available and put them together, and it's still less comic, or less content, less runtime than the amount of Stan Lee interviews out there.
And you get to know him. Now, I tell you, when you meet Stan Lee personally, he lives up and he exceeded my expectations.
Sure.
As to what I mean, he was amazing. But Jack Kirby, very kind of secluded and didn't get as much kind of recognition until like probably after his death. And I still think he deserves a lot more recognition as well. Interesting. We both have the same answer right there. So absolutely. All right. We're going to move on to the next question. Here we go. Josh's Comics. Ask Joe, CBC, and Jeff too. What are your thoughts on the difference between cameo and first appearance, like Hulk 180 versus 181? What you consider a cameo and a first appearance? Why did you do this, Josh? Why?
Yeah, this is a hot topic in the comic book community.
And by the way, this Ask Joe and Jeff too segment is about the community as well. So we want to hear what you all think about this too. So please put it in the comments, put it in the chat. Love to hear more from you. Anyways, go.
Let us know. Weigh in. But okay, so cameo versus first appearance, first full appearance, whatever you want to call it. It's a hot topic, and everyone's gonna have their different opinions. To me, what separates the two, if a character shows up on one page or even 2 pages, I consider that a cameo. Even if they have speaking lines, even if they're shown in full costume, even if their name is revealed, that's still a cameo to me. You know, it's often the last page or 2 of the book. Hulk 181, last page of the book.
180.
What was that?
You said Hulk 180. 180.
Sorry,
180.
Hulk 180. Yeah. Last page of the book. Venom appearing at the end of 299. I think he's actually on the last 2 pages. I still consider that a cameo. A lot of people are like, oh, they have to be obscured. A lot of people say, oh, they have to be, it can't be their full body. You can't know their name, blah, blah, blah. There's different rules for different people. That is what I consider, is to be them on, 1 or 2 pages in the book, kind of a little preview of the character, just a little taste, just a little treat to get you to go buy that next issue where their full appearance is. Now, that being said, both are very collectible. They're both great. Now, one thing that's a little tricky here is that, think about Bishop is the perfect example. Character whose first cameo appearance, they're on the cover as well.
Right.
X-Men 282 is Bishop's first cameo. He's only on the last page of the book, but he's on the cover as well. To me, it's still a cameo, but with that first cover appearance, that's the book. That's the book to buy. And it often comes down to that, because look what happened with Gambit as well. Even though his first full appearance is in Annual 14, his most sought after book by far is X-Men 266, him being on the cover and it being chronologically first in the story.
Okay.
AKA it's nuanced, it's tricky. You make your own decision what you call a cameo and what you'd call a first full appearance, and you buy whatever you want.
That's it. And the market decides too what these things are, which is very strange. But like
the market decides the price and which book is more sought after. The market would decide what is a first appearance or a first cameo. The individual.
You're very well said. But if you look at this cut and dry,
yes,
the first time Wolverine appeared was in 180, right?
Sure.
Never appeared before that.
Correct.
So I think we could get into a little bit deeper though, because it was 1 page. He does say his name. He's got some lines, but I think going along the lines of what you said, the first appearance is getting to know more about a character, and 181 would be a perfect example of that. Does that make sense? So cameo being the 1 page, right? Even though technically that is a first appearance, right?
Yeah.
Cameo being that 1 page, whereas we got to know more about Wolverine in 181. He spoke more, you know what I mean? So I would go along those lines as well, as being a first appearance and a cameo is how
Wolverine was not an integral part of the story of Hulk 180 whatsoever. He was boom out of the woods, introduced on the last page.
Exactly. So
nothing. He could be, those last 2 pages could be taken out of Hulk 180, and it would not change the story in that book at all.
No. So
it would just not prompt you to be buying the next issue if you're interested in that character.
I'm basically agreeing with you, but you didn't understand. I'm glad Dan did, though. Thank you, Dan. All right, we're gonna move on to the next question here. Ask Joe and Jeff, if you had to put your money on one Superman versus Hulk, who would it be? Goodness.
Well,
I know
Hulk is immortal. Hulk is immortal.
Yeah.
So it might be Hulk, just because he's immortal. You can't kill the Hulk.
But we're not talking about. It doesn't necessarily mean to the death. I'm going Superman.
Superman is going to win the fight, but
That's what
Eventually-
he's talking about. It's like
The
winning the
whole-
game. If you put money down on a game, you bet on one team and they win.
Yeah, I guess if it's not to the death, like Superman's gonna manhandle Hulk. Let's be real.
Superman could literally throw Hulk into space and Hulk's screwed. He's just gonna
Float around forever. Yeah. Superman is a broken character, and this is why a lot of people don't like Superman, is that he is just busted. He's OP. He's just far too advanced, and which is why they've toned him down in the last couple decades as compared to, early appearances, the first few decades of his existence, where he did it all.
who did it all? What do you mean he did it all?
Superman.
Okay.
Superman is a broken character. He is way too powerful. And, for that reason, he is, to a lot of people, including myself, not a fun character to read.
Yes and no. There have been times where he is. There have been times where you see the humanity in him. But you're right. I think it's just he's been written the same way for years and years and years. It's going to be interesting to see what James Gunn does with him in the films, too, because you need to make him more interesting. All right, moving on. Tishu. Hey, Joe and Jeff. If you were a comic collector stuck on Gilligan's Island with your waterlogged collection, what Professor-esque invention would you make to restore them to their former glory?
This is so funny because I had lunch with Paul Bond and Josh from Josh's Comics today. I literally had lunch with them today, and we talked about Gilligan's Island. And it was the first time I thought about that show in years and years, probably over a decade. And now it's being brought up again for the second time today. Very strange. Waterlogged comics. I mean, some sort of a press would probably be the best.
I'm thinking the only resources you have are on the island, the natural resources.
Yeah, what you gotta do is you gotta get the flattest palm leaves that you can find, really big ones, warm them up in the sun, maybe through a reflective channel, and then get a flat rock or something and put it down on there, the comic in between layers of palm leaves, and make sure they're warm. Remember, that's important. And then you could actually put sand on top, and the sand would weigh it down and also warm up itself in the sun, and therefore heat and press your comic just like a heat press. I'm a genius. What?
So if they're waterlogged, I would think you'd want to get some sort of device created out of bamboos, although bamboos are very uneven, aren't they? You know what I mean? Like, you can't create a rotating press.
Maybe. I mean, if you could shave down a bamboo to be kind of like a dowel.
Yes,
run it
exactly. That's what I would like to do. Yes.
Yeah, you could run it kind of through that as those machines that press to make pasta with. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Hand cranked one.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. You don't have electricity.
In the sun, Joe, of course. Maybe incorporating some of your hot leaves. Right?
Jeff, I'm gonna be honest. I think if you and I were stuck on a desert island together, I think we'd do just fine.
Because our comics would be pristine.
Our comics would be great. I as long as our, well-being and health and safety are not.
Of course, but of course that's secondary at this point because we're answering the question. But I think what we're doing here is combining both of our ideas. You want to get those hot leaves in the sun that you then put into my press, your hot leaves into my press, right?
Yes.
And then we press those books through. We press them on through, and right there, they're not waterlogged anymore.
No,
they're probably 9.8 candidates.
I think they might be 9.9 candidates.
Totally. Because there's no one else to grade it but us, and we could just make whatever we want.
The island grading scale. Yes.
It's the island grading scale. Absolutely. Tishu, that was one of the most outside the box questions we ever had, and I love it. Thank you for that. Dan De La Torre. Here we go. Another one. Superman versus Captain Marvel. Shazam. Jesus.
Listen, I don't read much DC, and I know I'm sure they've fought before. I would think that Superman wins this every time.
I agree. Shazam is a kid. You know
A
what I
child.
mean? He's going to come up with dumb ideas, and Superman's been there, done that before. And yeah, sorry, I don't even hesitate saying Superman.
Yeah. Nope. I'm with you on that.
All right, Joe. Do we have any more questions? Is that the
I-
end of
I-
the segment?
I think that was the end of the segment, which means we get to listen to that beautiful sign-off music for the end of that segment before we move on to the next one.
Wait a minute. What is this? No, Josh, I don't hate kids, but like honestly, you're gonna take it.
Right.
Shazam lacks the experience that Superman has.
Yeah,
Damn,
Superman is a
Josh.
genetically advanced alien life form against a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. I'm not even playing this game anymore. We're just getting right into it. Let's do it.
Ask Joe and Jeff.
That's me. Said me. Did
And
you hear
Jeff,
me?
it's important to recognize my co-host of the show,
Yeah.
Jeff. Even though I get this long drawn out thing and Jeff gets the little tail end of it, it is important. Otherwise, he'll be cranky.
It's also in your contract too. You need to have a longer. Your name has to be said longer than mine.
Right. It's like how Chris Pratt has to be at the end of the credits for everything.
Is that true or false?
No, true. He is contractually like for. I think there's certain like supersedes, but like he's always at the end of the credits. Yeah.
I don't. There's a weird hierarchy the way they do that.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about movie credits today.
No, we're talking about comic books.
Yeah, and the comic books that are coming out this week, such as New Comic Book Day, which Chet lets us know about each and every week. Let's get into it.
Listen up, you sun-starved comic cavemen. Chet here, broadcasting live from a beach so secluded. The only villains I battle are rogue coconuts and overzealous hermit crabs. Now it's time to unleash a literary inferno hotter than a Krakoa sunrise. Let's get to it. First up, Nightwing number 110. Here we have a human-cat hybrid of Damian clawing his way through Bloodhaven. Can Nightwing mend the crumbling Super Suns, or will Damian's claws shred their bond tighter than a used bat? Rang, buckle up, Robin fans. It's going to get messy. Next, we dive into the hissing heart of Cobra Commander number 1. Before the monocle, the Cobra la la la, even the stench of Cobra Commander's armpits, we don't talk about those. We witness the rise of this slithering villain. Cobra ain't playing patty cake with G.I. Joe in this origin story. Finally, we enter Avengers. Twilight number 1. This, my friends, is a dystopian delight wrapped in an Alex Ross cover so stunning. It'll make you weep for a simpler time, like right before I traded in my winter blubber for this beach bot. There you have it, Comic Crusaders. 3 tales to set your synapses on fire, your imaginations running wild, and your bank accounts slightly lighter. Now go forth, purchase, devour, and bask in the glow of my superior taste in lines. Naturally. Happy reading. You comic cavemen. Shut out.
Chet is looking good.
Dude,
looking
he is
good, Chet.
He's looking good.
By
I
the
will
way,
say,
Highland low roller. I'll have what Chet's having. It's diet grape soda and running 87 or sprinting 87 miles per day.
it's true. It's true.
I
do want to say,
Cobra Commander. By the way,
I love the Nightwing. I love the Nightwing cover because it's kind of an homage to that cat meme. So good. So good.
People don't get it though. People are getting angry about it. Like,
really?
That's the worst thing we've ever seen. I'm like, did you see that? What was it? What was that Beast cover late last year with Wolverine?
Wolverine cover and the Wolverine, the Frank Miller Wolverine cover from.
Oh God!
I actually have a copy of that.
Frank Miller one was better than that Beast Wolverine one. That was atrocious. Anyways, Chet looks like a villain from the Defenders, a member of the Headmen, fat head with thin body. I mean, he can't help it. Come on, man. He's healthy now. All right. Are we really here at this time of night? For 28 million people watching us for the best segment on the internet right now.
It is true.
And we didn't even name it as such. We're going to get into it right now, but if you could help me out, I don't remember what it's called, nor do I have the new branding for it. Goodness gracious. Oh no, we cannot use the old branding, can we? Is that, dude, our CMO is going to be pissed if we use the new branding or the old branding.
Did you not upload it?
I don't know where it is. I don't know what happened to it. So.
Hey, listen, I'm disappointed in you sometimes.
Well, what segment are we talking about?
We're talking about a segment. Hold on a second. This segment, brought to you by Comic Book Canon, is known across the world as Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Fly from the press and salon. That's right. Each and every week, we ask you, the fine audience members, to send in your fresh gets, and you never disappoint. That's right. Fresh gets. If they're new in your collection, 2 years old, 30 years old, we don't care. As long as you just got them and you want to show them off. Just throw them up on Instagram. Use the hashtag FFTCS. That's right, FFTCS. Make sure you tag us on the picture. Do not put at Comic Book Canon in the description. We won't see them. Tag us on the picture. Send them all in. This Fresh from the Comic Shop is sponsored by EGS Comics and Spider Dude Comics as well. And guys, this book of the month for January, I usually I'll wait a little longer, but I can't wait to show it off yet again. Look at this. Joe, fire. Am I right?
Love it. The gradient, kind of like sun setting in the background with the orange up at the top. We've got to love the Joker, of course. Any cover the Joker's on. By the way, there's an online database that has every Joker cover. Just want to throw that out there. If you're into the Joker, there you go. It's online.
Very cool. Something I did not know. I learned something during this show. Thank you, Joe. That really rhymed. It kind of flowed really well. It's Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo. Number one, the Greg Capullo variant. I think it is gorgeous. Look at this is what you get with EGS. You get custom labels, everybody, as Joe was mentioning. You got the orange gradient matching the orange cover right there. You got the Joker logo in the middle up at the top. You got the 9.8. It is fresh. It is snazzy. It is EGS, everybody. Link is down below for EGS and Spider Dude Comics. Let me tell you a little bit more about EGS. Save 5% off your EGS order using the code Canon5. Optional custom labels, free graders notes, fast turnaround times, EGS Comics Grading.com. That was good, wasn't it? Very, 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 very good. All right, here we go. So, three criteria we look. Well, basically, as you all know, it is a competition. And I mean, you could just submit to submit as well, but why don't you just submit to win? Winners win, right, Joe? And what we like to see from you, we have three criteria for each of these books. The first one, give us a well-composed shot. Give us something that relates to the book. Think outside the box. Give us some depth of field. Get a nice focus up front and a little falling off focus in the background right there. We'd love to see it. Get creative with it. Have it relate to the comic book. Raising Elm does a great job with this. Am I missing? Who else does a great job with this, Joe? Josh's Comics does a great job with this. Who else, Joe? So many people do.
Lots of people. Dr. Plagueis with his
Dr. Plagueis
his figures. He pairs them with figures.
He's got the pops right there, the Funko Pops. And then Joe, give us the second criteria. What do we got?
Second criteria: make sure it's something that is unique. Now, unique doesn't mean it's $30,000. It could be $30 or 30 cents or $30 million if you have that kind of money. If you do, please donate to the Canon. Anyway, it just wants to be something. We want it to be something that it speaks to us. It catches our eye. It's not just the okay, I got this first appearance of Gambit. I'm gonna slap it down on my kitchen table, take a picture. That's cool and all, but make it something unique, something maybe with a signature or some original art or something that we haven't seen before, a less well-known book, maybe a little fact about the book that is something that's not known. Maybe the artist, the cover came to them in a dream the night before it was due, and they got up in the middle of the night and they had to draw it. I don't know if that's a real thing. I just made that up. On to Jeff for the third criteria.
By the way, I just want to mention Mark Lineker does a great job of unique books. That guy
True.
finds some gems. And the third criteria is pull at our heartstrings, tug at our heartstrings. What does this book mean to you? Does it remind you of a relative? Does it remind you the first time you walked into that comic book shop and just smelled the old issues? We love that smell, don't we, Joe?
Love it.
Love it. Again, something that's memorable about this book that means something to you. Let's just say, I don't know, for instance, you took skydiving lessons, right? And you had to rush from the comic book shop to get to the skydiving lessons. You rushed up to the airplane to meet your instructor. You had your backpack on. He's like, there's no time. There's no time. You got to get on the flight right now because the plane's on there and they got the propellers going real fast. I don't know why you're jumping out of a prop plane, but whatever. Come on, we got to go. We got to go. And you go running onto there. You tag up with your instructor. Is your book bag open? No, instructor. It's no. Wait, what'd you say? I can't hear you. Is your book bag open? He yells again. I can't hear you. Okay, we're jumping. Boom, they jump out, right? And what book do you have in that book bag, Joe? What book is it?
House of Secrets number 92.
Number 92. Guess what, Joe? You're doing your thing, and you realize that your backpack to the front, it's open, and you see it sneaking out. It's sneaking out. It's slowly, you're like, no! Boom, gone. You landed safely, but where'd your House of Secrets 92 go?
Lost forever.
I mean, you're probably in Florida jumping from the plane, and it's in the swamps now. But
Gator food.
15 years later, Joe, you win the
Did you
lottery.
do that on purpose?
What?
Put it in the swamps.
No, but that was good, actually.
Oh,
because,
good.
Yeah, it's
First
very
appearance of swamp thing, yeah.
Yeah, swamp, but that was very good, actually. Damn, I am really good. So 15 years later, Joe, you win the lottery. What's the first thing you buy?
House Secrets 92.
Because you lost it when you jumped out of that plane. That right there would tug at our heartstrings. So think about that. Anyways, Joe, that was really well done. Off the cuff. I gotta start incorporating you on these stories. I had no idea where I was going with that. Okay, it's exhausting, but we have a job to do, Joe. We did get more submissions this week. We do like seeing more and more and more. But again, guys, it's going to be super important to get your friends to vote because the count matters. The percentage matters. Here we go. So let's get into it. Joe, did I upload the Fresh from the Comic Shop? Yes, I did. Whew. We got Nukes Comics. Oh, this hits home. This hits home. Fresh from the Comic Shop, Transformers 2. Optimus must strategize a plan to gather Energon before the Decepticons. He pledges to protect this fragile planet from the Cybertronian war that has followed him. Great writing, art, and action, plus a surprise guest drops in unannounced. This is the series I always wanted as a kid. I picked this up from Titan Comics. Good stuff indeed. You know what he says at the end here, Joe?
What?
He says, "Go Cowboys."
Trying to get you to say it.
Go Cowboys. That's funny. But I do love the book. I love the series. The surprise guest is phenomenal, especially if you're a kid from the 80s. Ties in the whole universe. Very excited to see where this goes. I have issue 4 upstairs. I need to read that. Very excited though. I really like that book. And again, look at Nukes right there. There's a solid depth of field right there. The background falls off out of focus. It looks really nice. Well done there. Scruffy Comics is next. Look at this. Look at this gorgeous little thing right here. Would you look at it? Just look at it. Scruffy Comics. I was looking around in one of my local comic shops and I found these 2 amazing covers of my favorite X-Men character, Archangel by Jim Lee. The top one is an all-new Wolverine variant, Jim Lee X-Men trading card cover from 2017. The bottom one is the Marvel X-Men collection by Jim Lee from 1994. Jim Lee and Tom McFarlane are the reason I fell in love with Marvel Comics in the 90s. See, that means something. That's a well-composed shot. I don't know how you did that, but it really, really caught my eye. Joe, your thoughts?
Very cool. And I'm a sucker for these, either homages, showing an homage next to a book or, 2 things that use the same art like this. I think Scruffy a little bit ago had a foreign version of a book with the same cover next to the regular one. Yeah. That definitely just adds something to the post. So yeah, this is a good one, Scruffy.
It's a very good submission right here. Absolutely. Joseph, your first fresh scat of the week. What do you have?
All right, so we're going to go back to the golden age. I actually acquired this book. 2 of my books today, I acquired in a trade actually this morning with Bond.
Paul Bond.
Oh,
yes, we are on point today.
I don't know. You kind of came in a little late. Anyway, Paul came over. Josh was over as well. Josh witnessed the whole negotiation. And this is one of the books that I got. This is one I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with. This is Eerie number 5. Sorry, Eerie number 5 from 1952, Avon Comics. This is a Wally Wood cover, and Wally Wood, very famous for Lady in Red covers. There's one right there. And yeah, just awesome pre-code horror. We got this mummy coming out of the sarcophagus towards this woman. She's cowering in fear. Just classic golden age horror. And at a 4.0, pretty nice grade for a book that's 72 years old as of next month. Yeah, not sure what I'm going to do with this. This might go to the PC. This isn't a run that I collect, but it's so great. Such a nice grade on it and stuff.
Cool cover, man.
Yeah, so I got to decide. This might stay PC. This might be up for grabs in the next couple of weeks. We're going to make a decision later on.
Okay. Joe, I need you to decipher something for me. Would you be amenable to that?
Yeah.
What does this mean?
I still can't sit down after leaving. Paul.
Is that medical? Are we talking medical? What do we?
Yeah, we're talking. Paul was under the impression that he took a beating in the trade. I think it was a pretty good trade. But
okay, so it's metaphorical here. It's like,
yeah,
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. There was a good. We're both happy with the trade.
Okay.
He got some really great books. Give him a follow on Instagram, Brixco Comics. If you don't follow him yet, because he's definitely going to be showing off the books that he got from me this week, because there's some good ones.
I'll tell you what, Josh probably is a witness to something that we do not even want to hear about. So, Josh, I hope you're not scarred. Moving on, we got Josh's Comics. What do you know?
Perfect.
We got Josh's Comics right here. Gotham City Sirens, number 1, 9.8. First team appearance of Gotham City Sirens, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy. This week's fresh from the comic shop. I'm showing some love towards the ladies of DC. Gotham City Sirens is one of my favorite runs, and I couldn't pass up on this 9.8 at an amazing deal from, I didn't paste where it was from, but I'm pretty sure it's you, Joe.
It was, yes. He picked this up for me just a couple weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago to claim sale, and I finally gave it to him recently. So nice book that he just grabbed. Awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Josh, well done. Again, another great submission. Who else has another great submission? Who is up next? Joseph, who do we have? We got again, Raising Elm. Look what he does here. Just take a listen, everybody. Howdy, comic fan. I hope everyone is doing well. Winter is coming to Texas this weekend, so I'm grateful that my beautiful wife got me this new Star Wars blanket for Christmas. It's a Mandalorian-themed style Turkish cotton blanket towel tapestry made by SandCloud, and it is large enough that all 3 of us can cuddle up on the couch. Also, I thought it paired nicely with my recent pickup of Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2, issue number 1. This issue marks the first appearance of Cobb Vanth, a marshal that happened upon Boba Fett's armor, another fine addition to Elijah's growing PC. Much love, comic fam. There we go. That's, again, he did it again.
At first, I'm gonna be honest. At first, I thought the background was a shower curtain, and I was like, "Is he playing with us here? Is he?" And then I realized, I realized it's way freaking cooler than that. Has a great backstory, as always. Raising Elm killing it.
He does, man. He really does. All right, I'm gonna go with my first fresh scout of the week. This is one Dan De La Torre will be proud of me of. This is the Incredible Hulk number 142. It is the first appearance of this iteration of the Valkyrie.
Ooh,
right? Not a bad pickup for $15. So yeah,
sweet.
Yeah,
and those like I guess they're like late silver. That one's probably late silver. You know, the 15 centers do get into the early Bronze Age, but I think that one's a late Silver Age book. A lot of those like Hulk covers are, they're all phenomenal. A ton of Herb Trimpe covers and stuff like that. Marie Severn. Yeah. Yeah. Is that who did the cover on that one?
Maybe. Dan may know better than us. I'm not sure. Dan, let us know.
Yeah, that's a sweet
I'm noticing book. This right here, though.
It's okay.
It is okay. I got it for a good price. So yeah. And honestly, Dan, this right here, it's hard for me not to show any emotion. Love you too, buddy. I do. I've never taken an acting class either, everybody. Just want to let you know that.
Yeah. That's
Here we go. Who do we have next? Joe, what is next? Who is next? We got Nori Jordan. Nori Jordan with the Thunderbolts book, Joe.
Two Thunderbolts or not two Thunderbolts? I'm going to say it's Thunderbolts this week.
No, you're wrong. Well, it's a good book here. I actually did get a nice key book in this week. Red Hulk, a.k.a. Thunderbolt Ross, was a great character in Volume 2 of the Thunderbolts. It does relate to the Thunderbolts. I mean,
yeah.
And hopefully it will be fun to see in the upcoming Captain America movie. I was lucky and picked up his first appearance this week with the CBCS 9.8 that only cost me $5 due to eBay gift cards and the low overall bid on the book. Let's see what next week brings. Joe, $5. I mean, what?
Yeah. It's always good to rack up those eBay points and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like that.
Good work, Nori. Good work indeed. Joseph, your second fresh get.
Second fresh get of the week from me. This was picked up in a collection. I got a really cool collection. A lot of there was some Golden Age Batman. There was some Silver Age, big DC keys, as well as some ASM and a ton of modern books. I sold a lot of the stuff last week in my claim sale, and I'll have more this week. This book is probably my favorite new addition to the PC from that collection. We got Batman 37.
Damn.
37 Golden Age Batman goodness.
Look at that cover, man. That cover's outstanding.
I want to say it's a Jerry Robinson cover, but don't quote me on that. The Joker on any Golden Age Batman cover, highly collectible. This one not just has the Joker, big up here. We got a Joker plane and a Joker car as well. And the Joker's in the front seat of the Joker car. So there are 4 Joker faces on the cover of this book. As you can see, the side has a little bit of extreme chipping, let's call it. Portion of the cover is no longer there. But even so, it is the top staples attached, the bottom staples detached. Probably falls in the realm of like a 1.8, 2.0, maybe a 2.5 if I'm lucky. So this thing is staying in the PC, and I'll probably get it graded for preservation eventually.
That's another excellent pick. Joe, I really look forward to the day where I could say, Joe, that pickup sucks. I've never been able to say that to you.
No, I go through a lot of comic books every week.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty incredible what you bring each and every week. All right, moving on. We do have Super Crispy Comics. Almost forgot again this week, but here's my pickup of Daredevil 250, the Gabriel Delgado cover. This black and red virgin cover is so badass, so I thought I'd share with all you comic book homies. Peace, y'all. Yes. Like, I'm only familiar really with Gabriel Delgado with Batman and Spider-Man. I've never seen a Daredevil. This cover is insane, Joe.
The super sick book. I love the decor in this one as well. A little bit.
I guarantee you, Super Crispy made those pieces of art in the background there.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah, it just all cohesively looks really great. A little bit of vignette on the photo as well, giving it some kind of cool shadowing, which is, kind of actually in a way relates to, Matt Murdock with his vision being obscured.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, this is such a cool cover. So good stuff there, Crispy, Super Crispy. All right, my second fresh get of the week, again outside my box, but I was telling y'all I've been pulled into kind of DC Silver Age stuff. So we got The Brave and the Bold number 42. My voice just cracked. Did you hear that?
I liked it.
Thank you. This is Hawkman. It features Hawkman, where he gets a new costume, and I'm not sure what the previous costume looked like because this is the Hawkman I've always known. So I need to check it out. But yeah, it's a new costume with Hawkman. Still a pretty cool book, right, Joe?
I like it.
Thank you. Just
Hawkman stuff's underrated too.
I do like Hawkman. Yeah, I mean, obviously y'all know my favorite DC character is Green Lantern, but Hawkman is really cool. I had the figure back in the day, the Hawkman figure, where if you put his legs together, his wings would go whoosh, whoosh. And it didn't make those sound effects though, I swear. Moving on, Joseph, we have Mark Lineker with Looking for Incredible, Unbelievable Adventure, Craving Some Fantastic Science, Itching to Get Creeped Out from Eerie Horror or Weird Terror. Well, Captain Marvel Adventures number 138 from 1952 has got flying saucers, haunted armor, and a ghostly Dr. Savannah, all for you. Classic cover mixes, superhero genre with popular pre-code styling. Happy to have a copy of this issue in the PC. Very cool looking issue right there, Joe. I don't know if you have any comments on this, if you've run across this book, but this book is very cool.
Yeah, I love that he, in describing the book, he used the wording on the bottom. If you notice that it says weird terror, weird terror and eerie horror, and he used that in the caption. That's great, kind of pulling from the book. Love that. Yeah, very
Mark
cool book.
Lineker, yeah, and I like his posts are always, you learn something always from it. But I love the setup of this cover right here, 100%. Joseph, your third fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right, so this is another book that is another PC book. This was part of the trade. This is the only book from the trade with Paul today that was like firmly, I know I'm keeping this one. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and especially with news of a movie on the horizon, it's got to be a keeper. We got one of my favorite video games of all time, The Legend of Zelda.
Ooh,
issue number 1, 9.8. Now, the cool thing about this story, Paul won this as a raw copy in a local auction house near him. He won a lot of Nintendo books, sent the best qualified ones off to get graded, and he ended up getting a lot of 9.8s.
Wow.
So if you can't collect this Valiant stuff, hit him up, because I think he's selling some of them. But this one, he was thinking about keeping for himself. I ended up having a book that he wanted for his PC that was kind of the same value. And this was part of the trade today. Those were kind of like the two big cornerstone books of the trade.
That is a great pickup there, Joe, because I know what Zelda means to you. And so absolutely. I love it right there. We don't have any more audience submissions, but I'm going to give you all saw, I guess Bronze Age, early Bronze Age maybe, and a Silver Age book. But I'm going to give you my book of the week, and I'm very excited about this book. And nobody has mentioned this book, but it's been the talk of the town, and I'm very happy. I got it on my pull list a while ago. Asked my local comic shop to do it. Oh yeah, comics, they're the greatest. Yeah, dude, Ultimate Spider-Man number 1.
Oh yeah.
I loved it. I read it. I loved it. And y'all know Spider-Man is my favorite character. This was just so good. And it's quite interesting because the reason that they came out with the Ultimate line, well, Ultimate Spider-Man specifically in the early 2000s, was to attract a younger audience, right? This is about Peter Parker as a middle-aged man who does not have his powers, is married to Mary Jane, has 2 kids, and he gets powers. So it set up the whole world. I mean, I think it was Ultimate Universe number 1 starts to set up the whole world, but this really sets up the world that they live in. I loved it. And again, it was Hickman, and I mentioned how Hickman kind of, for me, it's like, I don't understand any of this, but it was a great read. Joe, I'm excited for you to pick that one up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I told Jeff this earlier. My LCS, I thought I had pre-ordered it. I guess I didn't, or maybe there was an issue and it didn't get put onto my pull list. But I went in there Thursday thinking I was going to pick up my book, and they not only didn't have one for me, but they were sold out. So all good. I'll grab a second print, or if I end up finding a first print, that's cool too. I'm not too worried about it. I know
it'll probably come down.
Yeah, it's selling for $30 right now. That's just because it just came out this week.
Honestly, I know it's I wanted this book, Josh, when it was first announced, and they gave you the kind of the synopsis of what this would be.
Sure.
But I'm telling, I just wanted it to read. I didn't want to, to collect and flip or what have you. But I'm shocked that it actually is. But people are scrambling for these issues right now, and I really hope, because this is rare. it's not because there's no true first appearances here, right? I mean,
I don't know. I haven't read it.
Technically, he appeared in Ultimate Invasion #1. I think it
Mhm.
was #1. So there's a whole backstory to the maker and why this universe exists. But it's nice to see that good writing, great artwork, really good artwork may be the impetus for people scrambling for this book. So yeah, absolutely, Nuke. Definitely pick this up if you enjoy Spider-Man, which obviously you do. It's a really good read for sure. Anyways, and that's all we have right there. So Joe, you and I have some decisions to make. Have a decision to make. It's one
Yes.
decision. Joe, I don't know. Do you want to start by going over some of these books that we liked seeing here?
I had two that really stuck out to me.
I had which one? I have three actually.
Do you remember who won last week?
No, I was gonna look it up, but
I forgot too who won last week. The first show of the year.
I want to say it was Justin Raising Elm. I'm pretty sure it was Raising Elm.
All right, if anyone remembers, just put it in the chat because
We need to keep better track of this. We will.
Yeah.
Promise.
But anyway, so the two that really stuck out to me were Super Crispies.
That's me too. Okay.
Which was that Daredevil Delgado variant, virgin cover, without the trade dress, without words on the cover. Great, pairing with the art there, as well as just a little tad bit of photo editing with the vignette, making it look really cool and kind of bringing us into the dark world of Matt Murdock. That being said, the other one that stuck out to me was Scruffy's.
Me too. Shit. Me too. This is not going to be easy. Okay.
This book really checks a lot of the boxes here as far as, being presenting well, being something unique. I don't know that I've ever seen this. I know one of these is a variant cover, I think you said, and the other one is a collected edition. I think that's what he said. I forget.
Where is it? Where is it? Sorry. Here it is. Right here. It is. I'll just read it again. I was looking around in one of my local comic shops and I found these two amazing covers of one of my favorite X-Men characters, Archangel by Jim Lee. The top one is an all-new Wolverine variant by Jim Lee, or Jim Lee X-Men trading card cover from 2017.
There we go.
The bottom one is the Marvel X-Men collection by Jim Lee from 1994.
Yeah.
I love the background, what he's done here. It just really sticks out.
Yeah, very cool. But both of those, they're really eye appealing. They've got kind of layers to them as far as the significance of the pictures and stuff. This one's a tough one for me.
And then my third one was Mark Leneker. Again, I really like, but that is out. So we need to decide between those two, Scruffy and Super Crispy.
Yeah.
Just one more time here. I don't know if Dan's available if we need him.
I think I have one that I'm leaning towards.
I'm leaning towards one as well.
Which one?
I'm going to say, or you want to say it at the same time?
No, you say it first.
Scruffy.
Oh, I'm leaning towards Super Crispy.
Shoot. All right, Dan, we can't bring you on right now because we are at time. But if you could put in the chat which one of these two, Dan De La Torre is making the final decision here between Super Crispy and Scruffy Comics.
We need the word of Dan De La Torre himself.
Yeah, Super Crispy versus Scruffy Comics. Dan, what do you got? Dan, what do you got? Put it in the chat. We are waiting to hear from you. Until then, maybe we do our niceties and be like, yo, it was good. Actually, this was fun, man. This is what the show's all about. As you can see, I hope you're noticing we are looking to improve the show, quality, production-wise, and getting our posts out there. And wait, we have a winner. We have a winner. It is
Scruffy.
No, it's Scruffy. My bad. My bad. Scruffy.
What's happening?
That was a close one, though. That was a tough one. But Scruffy wins. Scruffy, you were moving on to the semifinals, which we will conduct on Wednesdays. It's every other Wednesdays we do our semifinals on. Congratulations on that. We will get that together soon. But again, this is always a blast with you people. Second show of 2024. I feel like we're hitting a stride. We are upping our production value. We are getting out there on the social media. We're just having fun. Joe's hitting up his claim sales, and that's been doing really well. You got the CNGO store opening up. You got the links down below for any shirts or hats that you want. Yeah, Joe, any thoughts? What do you got?
Yeah, some of you might be wondering, we haven't had a guest in a while. We had a conversation today about that. We will be bringing on some guests. We have a couple that are in the works right now, kind of starting for February. So yeah, we've had some people in the pipeline for a while. The end of 2023 got a little bit muddled up and crazy, and in our personal lives, as well as having other stuff on our plate.
Let's be honest. Kevin Feige ghosted us is what happened, but
he did. He was supposed to hang out, but anyway, we've got some good stuff in the works as far as guests coming up, and we'll let you know.
But in the meantime, hit us up in the on the DMs, in the chats here, or whatever things that you want to see on the show. Let us know. We'll have fun. Joe kind of came up with an idea with Dr. Plagueis on the hunt, and now I love seeing that. By the way, even though Dr. Plagueis is mostly the only person that does it, we'd love to see those from you people. So yeah. But that being said, again, always great hanging out with you on a Sunday night. We are going to be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific on the Cannon. Until then, everybody, please be good to yourself. Be good to yourself and be good to others. We'll see you next week. Peace.